Hi everybody, welcome back to Newton Community Farms YouTube channel. My name's Hope and it's Wednesday. We're going to talk about gardening and farming, and today's actually a very special occasion. It's my final week on the farm, so I'm going to be passing the baton over to Jay Villar. He's our communications and operations manager here at the farm. He's been the man behind the camera this whole time, and he's going to start being the man in front of the camera, and this is my last episode doing these shows together with Jay. So we're going to have a conversation today, him and I, to help you all get to know us better and get to know the farm better, and we'll talk about some of our philosophies around farming and working here and being involved in agriculture. So I'm handing it over to Jay.
Hi everyone. Well, I'm Jay Villar, and as Hope mentioned, I am the operations and communications manager here at Newton Community Farm, and I also have a background in nutritional therapy. So I have the honor and privilege of cooking with some of the delicious food that we get to grow here, and part of the upcoming programming is teaching all of you some of my skills of what it means to not only grow nutrient-dense vegetables, but also how to prepare it for some of the most delicious meals that you can make in your own kitchen. So as Hope mentioned, I'm going to be asking as well as answering some questions for folks at home to get to know me, but also get to and continue to know Hope, because once a member of Newton Community Farm family, you're always a member here. So, Hope, first question is, what brought you to Newton Community Farm in the first place?
So I found my way to Newton Community Farm this past winter. The farm was looking for an interim director of education, and my background is a kind of eclectic blend of farming and agriculture, education, and community health work. And this kind of married together, this opportunity at Newton Community Farm brought all these things together: the education, the community engagement, and the interest in farming. And it's been a super different season than I expected it to be, just by nature of having this pandemic happen and so much changed around the farm. But it's been extremely educational working on this staff and working in the field and continuing education virtually in this way. So that's how I found my way to Newton Community Farm, and I'm very happy that I did. So my question for you, Jay, is how did you find your way to agriculture in the first place?
So what brought me to agriculture was to complete the full life cycle of what I was doing with nutrition and cooking. And what I started to really understand was that our nutrients in our food come from the soil. And there's this kind of old age philosophy behind healthy soil equals healthy plants equals healthy people. And I really wanted to go deep in understanding what that means on a wider scale, and then also means on a sort of practical scale. So, how do we grow these nutrient-dense vegetables that we want to see on our grocery store shelves, as well as on our plates and the end products that was there? And how do we sort of tell the story of agriculture in a way that's meaningful for not only the sustainability of our food supply, but also the sustainability of our health? So there's just a lot of topics there that I wanted to go deep in, and I studied with the Rodale Institute, got my training there, and really became a true storyteller about what that means, what that looks like. So here in my work at Newton Community Farm allows me to continue that storytelling and be in full practice amongst what it means to grow healthy, nutrient-dense food because we have the sustainable agricultural practices here on the farm. And my question for you, Hope, is why do you think small farms are so important?
I think small farms are super important for a number of reasons. The main reason that I think small farms are important is the community element that they provide. So in this age of industrial agriculture that we find ourselves in, so many of us don't know where our food's coming from. And like Jay was talking about with soil health and how that translates to food health and the health of us, all of us, I think small farms offer us the knowledge of where that food is coming from and offers us the ability to trust that our food is being cared for and it's actually dense with nutrients. And there's so much to be said for being able to walk by or drive by a farm where you see food in the field and you know that that food can be on your table later. And you know that you can connect with the people who are growing it. So I think that first off, an important part of small farming is the community element. I also think that small farms have the ability to kind of lead the charge on these like environmental initiatives. So for example, at Newton Community Farm, we have these sustainability initiatives in place around maximizing water and taking good care of our soil, rotating our crops, using cover crops. Because we're so small, we can try all of these things. I think with big industrial agriculture, they're a little bit more locked into certain systems and into certain ways of doing things. And I think that from what I've seen working with, especially this team on a small farm, we have the ability to lead that charge and implement some sustainability initiatives that will hopefully drive us collectively towards some change. So I think those are my two biggest bonuses and wonderful outcomes of small farming, the community piece and the sustainability piece. So my question for you now, Jay, is what do you think are some of the bigger challenges faced by small local farms?
So what I think is challenging for many local farms is the business aspect of having to provide the overhead of what it means to have space and land and rent and mortgage, and feeling as if you need to sustain and provide that household income as well as the business household income with the production of selling and producing vegetables. And there's varying levels of aspects of the business, with whether you're raising animals or whether you have other models like a CSA model or you're a farmers market model, whatever kind of like business model that you sort of like fall into, there's levels and experiences of challenges like that way. So like no one is getting like rich off of having a small local farm. There's this sort of old joke of how do you make a small fortune in small farming? It's you start with a large fortune. So we're very lucky to be in this position at New Community Farm where we are supported as a nonprofit, doing educational programs, doing outreach, having our own CSA model, selling at farmers market, having opportunities to like give and donate, and all of those things make up our sustainability as an opportunity to be of service for the community. But not a lot of local farms are a nonprofit model, so they are reliant on having to be very scrappy in how they produce their business model. So just getting into that business alone is very, very challenging because you want to have some sort of income. So having folks kind of educate many people on like the benefits of supporting your local farmers and making sure that you are buying local because your dollar really truly does stay in the community. So even if those carrots kind of cost a little bit more, know that you are supporting like a local business and someone who's really taking care of their land, and doing what they can do to really feed their community in a really meaningful way. So as challenging as it all is, it is very rewarding, both for the consumer to buy the local produce, but also for the farmer to grow it for them, because it creates this sort of community of economy that people can be proud of. So, Hope, my question for you is, what do you see the future of local farming to be?
So the future of small farming, that's a big question, and it's a hard question. I think there's a lot to work with there. And I'm thinking now of what this pandemic has shown us. I think it's shown us, how important small local farming is. I mean, if anyone watching had this similar experience that I had of going to the grocery store and seeing that kind of mad dash to take anything that was left on the shelves, this time has definitely rattled our faith in our food systems, I think. And it's highlighted how important it is to create these resilient local food systems. So that's on the one hand. And then on the other hand, I think that there's this innate desire in people to sow seeds and grow food and feed themselves with integrity and with knowledge and understanding of what's happening in that system that feeds them. So another thing that I definitely saw a lot of during this pandemic and quarantine time has been folks sowing seeds in their houses and transplanting them outside in the spring, and more people wanting to garden, and more people going to the local like nursery store and buying plants to bring home and put in their gardens. I've seen a lot of that kind of tapping into that very human instinct to provide for ourselves. So in that regard, I think there's a lot of hope moving forward. It's going to take a lot of conversation and education around the importance of local farming and small farming and how important it is to support that. And I think the more people that can, keep that conversation going as we move forward, the better off we'll be. The more people know about the importance and the impacts of small farming, the better. And I see, my faith is renewed every time I, see people picking up their CSA shares, and every time I see people picking up something organic at the grocery store instead of conventional. I think there are all of these little signs that we're trending in the right direction, and any way that we can keep it moving forward, I think is important. So this is my official sign off. It's been so lovely and fun and exciting and fulfilling to provide these weekly visits with all of you. And I'm so excited to hand the mic over to Jay. I know he's going to do really great things with this show that we've created. So with that, you'll all be back here next Wednesday, I hope. And thank you so much for tuning in and sharing Wednesdays with me. And now over to Jay.
Well, thank you, Hope, for that great and very insightful answer. And thank you for the service that you have provided Newton Community Farm in your tenure here. It's been wonderful to learn from you, to collaborate with you, and to provide this great service of education to our community with you. So I have some big shoes to fill, and hopefully I will fill them in a great, meaningful way as much as you did. So I am here now for your Wednesdays as your host, your ambassador, your educator here at New Community Farm. I look forward to being with you both on screen, and then when we can make it off screen, seeing everyone that has been fans of the show live in a person. When we can do that safely, it'll be amazing. So stay tuned for next week's show. Until then, I'll see you guys later.